made huge progress towards levelling up.
That's Tory Jacob Young flailing around in the House of Commons on the 22nd of January after Labour's Angela Rayner brought some damning data about Tory's levelling up agenda.
Data revealed by the Centre of Cities today shows that after 14 years, towns and cities in every corner of our country have been levelled down and left behind and left out of pocket. People are on average over £10,000 a year worse off as a result of the sluggish growth since 2010. Analysis of the country's largest cities and towns reveals that every place is out of pocket, north and south, from former industrial towns to major cities. 14 years after taking power, does the Minister accept that the British people are worse off now than they were then?
Now, if you want to read the article, I've placed it in the description box below. But it talks about if disposable income had kept growing at the same rate as they did in 1998 and 2010, people would have had on average £10,200 extra to spend. Also, to put a bit of meat on the bone, in Aberdeen, people's disposable income is now £45,200 lower. And in Burnley, it's now £28,100 lower. And in Cambridge and Milton Keynes, their disposable income is now on average £20,000 lower. Now, did Jacob Young buck the Tory trend of blaming others and actually decide to take responsibility for their own mess?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I absolutely don't accept that. And the reality is, the Honourable Lady seems to forget we had a financial crash, we've had COVID-19, we've had the Scottish Government failing to support cities like Aberdeen with the oil and gas industry.
Nope, not a bat of it. But while our cooked-up Michael Gove was nodding his head in a really over-the-top manic way, while having that vacant stare into the void and dreaming of his next fixed look, Jacob Young asked Angela Rayner to look at the evidence, and we're investing £4.8 billion of levelling up funding into communities, and we will continue to do so. Well, that's what Angela Rayner actually did. She looked at the evidence.
Mr. Speaker, I am looking at the evidence. The Minister says look at the evidence. 14 years of a Conservative government, a government elected on a promise to level up the country, which has seen as left working people worse off. In Manchester, the average household is over £8,000 a year out of pocket. Down the road in Burnley, the loss amounts to £28,000. Will they now listen to our proposals to reform planning, reinstate housing targets and get Britain building again, or will the country have to suffer another final year of failure?
Mr. Speaker, the Labour Party have bankrupted Birmingham. They would bankrupt Britain.
I think you'll find it's been 14 years of Tory rule that has probably bankrupt Birmingham Council, Jacob. Also the Conservative-run Northamptonshire County Council, where a report uncovered an ingrained culture of failure. And don't forget about Thurrock Council as well, where a Conservative-run council ploughed hundreds of millions of pounds onto apparently risky commercial investments and tried to silence critics as well. Typical Tories, eh? Also, a review said that in our assessment, therefore, is that although serious mistakes have been made by individuals, the challenges facing the council stem from a series of self-sustaining systemic weaknesses which have allowed for repeated failure over many years. And we cannot forget about Conservative-run Woking Council too, where they declared bankruptcy after making risky investments and skyscrapers, to which the local Conservative Party was forced to make a grovelling apology for the absolute shit show that they had created. But in true Tory style, while they were squandering public money, they said it was made in good faith. I'll leave a link in the description box if you're interested. So, Jacob, not really the zinger you actually think it is, really, is it? Maybe you could actually blame Putin's illegal invasion of Ukraine for what happened to these Tory-run councils this time. But then after their levelling up nonsense had been pretty much exposed as just utter bollocks, and I feel your pain, Angela, yeah, I really do, honestly. He then prattled on about rolling out gigabit broadband, introducing educational investment in areas. Even Freeport's got the air in as well, then denied the evidence about national living wage, recruiting more police officers, funding regeneration and community ownership. and devolving more power to local mayors. All the while, an ever-increasingly fidgety Michael Gove was clearly looking for the nearest bog to self-medicate himself. So did Angela Rayner brilliantly expose the nonsense of this extreme Brexit Tory government's levelling up agenda for what it is, just utter nonsense. Let me know down below, and I shall bid you farewell and take care, my friends.